me to just take your question, or if you raise your hand, I can choose you and take your question.
Gwen,
Yes.
I wanted to know a little bit more about the animals. How do you scan them? Do you actually put the phone on them, and can they use the same level of frequency? And then when you do set the program, does it have to touch them? I'm a little confused on how you're using it with pets.
Well, okay, so but that goes back to pink and blue. So if I'm using the microcurrents, then my Healy has to be next to my pet. So my dogs are sitting right here, and I would just put my Healy on top of her or next to her or behind her or whatever. So it's just laying next to her.
Does it have to touch her?
It needs to be fairly close. I mean, there is a field about it, but I just lay it next to my dog. My older dog is up there. So if I have him, I'm just laying it like right in his bed next to him.
Okay. And the frequency levels are okay? I mean, for little guys, like, we don't have to turn it down?
Well, I leave 15%, so I'm never turning mine up. So mine, it's fine at 15%. It doesn't seem to bother. In fact, he tends to cuddle with it. As soon as I turn it on and put it anywhere, he moves around until it's in the middle of him, like holding it.
And how are you scanning him? Because I've seen people put like the paw on the phone, or how are you getting the information?
You don't have to do that, because when you're dealing with someone that's in another place, they're not even touching anything. So I'm not at all. I'm just I'm just putting my finger on that button to do the scan. But actually, I don't know. I think that's a misconception, because why would you have to do that on someone local, but when someone's across the country, you don't do that? That doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, so you would just do it as if it was a far away, or like a person that's distant?
I do everybody like that except myself, because 99% of the people that I've done the analyze on are not here. They're not in this room. And because of COVID, most people are not coming over. Even my local clients are doing everything by phone. So yeah, none of them are here to actually hold it to get the energy from them.
Okay, and where can we find your video that you mentioned, that you did a training video for?
I've done a bunch of times already. Okay, so that's a good question, because I'll send it out about every 2 weeks to everybody, because it keeps coming up. But and I don't mind sending out it again this week. If you're new to my email list, then maybe you just haven't seen it yet. But it says microcurrent training, and it says analyze training. That's the name of the videos. But Maria and well, first of all, Maria and Chris are trying to put a few of the videos on the ATP 123 website, which is a resource for new people on how to sign up people, how to navigate the back office, how to do everything. And then Maria and I are talking about setting up a YouTube channel that's more of just the instructional stuff. I mean, it won't be all the Q&A stuff. It'll just be her and I doing, this is how you do this, this is how you do this, this is how you do this. So they're like videos, so people don't have to listen to an hour video to learn how to work on a house.
Yeah.
So we haven't started that yet. It's just been a recent discussion of ours, because we do get the same questions over and over, and it would be easy to go to YouTube, go find the video.
That would be awesome. I hope you get to do that, because that would be wonderful.
Yeah, we're working on it right now. Like, we just need to.
So much.
You're welcome.
Gwen, I have a question. The other night, my wife Suzanne said you had done some type of a measuring, and if it was like 100% as far as the pink app, it would reach out 10 feet or something.
I got between 6 and 10 feet, depending on which program was running.
Okay, so if you were, like, for instance, was doing it in a room of seniors that you wanted to put in the middle of 10 or 12 people, that would work?
Yes, and in fact, if they're all within like 5 to 10 feet, that'd have to be pretty close together. But it would definitely work between like 2 people sitting on a couch, or 2 people laying in the same bed, because a bed is about that long wide across. Right. But not going to affect the other bedroom, because it wasn't that long of a signal.
Oh, I see. Just 6 to 10 feet. All right. Mm-hmm. And that's at 100%?
Microcurrent side, that's on the pink dot.
Right.
Blue.
Right. And that was at 100%?
The percentage didn't change that. What changed it was which program I was running. So
okay.
that was actually Maria's question, was the audio intensity didn't change that. What changed it was the lower or higher frequencies. So if you're in the pain,
Okay.
what Maria was saying was that it's a steady low frequency, and that had a lesser field than the higher frequencies.
Okay.
So it wasn't intensity, and that's what I would say. Intensity does not equal strength. It's more like volume.
I
But
see.
it didn't affect the field. What affected the field was the higher low frequencies affected the field.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so Gwen, I have a question. This is Willow.
Hi, Willow.
Hi, Gwen. When I run programs on my husband for sleep at night, and he's already in bed, but the device is by me, am I getting his sleep programs? And also when he gets up to go to work the next day and I run his Gold Cycle programs on him remotely because he's not here, but the device is by me, am I getting all those frequencies too? Because I've had severe detox, and I'm wondering if the reason is that I need to put the Healy somewhere else in my home, not in my space.
Yeah, but okay, that's two different questions, because the one at night, you're probably using microcurrents, right? Or using
No, I'm vibrating it to him.
you know, the vibrate should not be affecting you, because I mean, unless you're holding it maybe, but if it's near you, that's working technology. The field
Okay.
that I with my pendulum was the Pink Dot app, which was the frequencies. So it's two totally different things. But so I was measuring the field on the Pink Dot app. I didn't try to measure the Blue Dot, because that doesn't make sense to me that that would be emitting a signal, because it's not using frequencies. So,
Okay.
but I think anyway, I've had plenty of people contact me that are in a healing crisis from just doing 1 or 2 programs a day. So it's possible that that's happening anyway, just from you using it for what you're doing.
Right. I could be doing way too many programs than I should. That's probably it. I just wanted to clarify that, because I was hoping that it was because I was running his programs that I was getting the detox, and not that I was doing too much, you know?
Yeah, but you know, I'm getting a ton of emails, you guys. I mean, if you're just getting the Healy, I would say do 1 program, and then if you feel fine after a few days, go to 2, and then go to 3. And I mean, I did 3 from the beginning. I did turn release, but I did experiences that were unexpected, and so did my dog, who was not next to the Healy at the time, using the microcurrents. But that kind of went past, and then we moved on to other things, you know. But that's the thing, is that I wouldn't do more. I mean, it also depends on how many health issues you have. There was a lady, well, Lynn, who's been on a lot of the calls, she was in a healing crisis. We went over her case in the workshop, and she backed off, you know, things got better. But I've had 2 or 3 people just like this week that got their Healy. They're so excited. They're doing all kinds of stuff. And I'm not sure that they weren't just really ill. They could have just been really ill. But I've had 2 people tell me they were in the emergency room this week. And I can't help but wonder if it was related to a healing crisis, because a healing crisis feels a lot like an actual health episode. And we can feel like crap. We can feel like we have the flu. We can feel like we're, you know, like having some major issues. But because if the body is very toxic and it's trying to get rid of toxins and it can't, or you're doing too much, which is kind of like a funnel, and then everything gets backed up, and then you just feel terrible. And especially if you're not hydrated, if you don't have the right nutrition, if depending on what you're eating, you know, all those things. So it is super important to take it slow. If you do get any cold flu symptoms, the other my advice is don't just automatically think you have COVID. That is so silly. Just think, okay, I need to drink more water. Okay, I need to back off the programs. I need to do less. And sometimes and also if you have chronic illness, like if you're a person that, like what I described, I mean, it took years to be even able to get through one liver cleanse. I was doing natural health stuff for 10 years before I could do a liver cleanse without staying in. So it's no joke. It's not like, oh, it's really nothing, you know, like people think it's this little cute thing and it's like, you know, not going to do that. But it's like, I don't know how many of you have even done a liver cleanse, but it's not a picnic. So just think of it like kind of like that you're initiating your body to dump toxins. And we said on the call last night, Maria said that there's people saying they have really smelly feet, they're really bad body odor, sometimes really bad breath sign. So there's a lot of signs of detox, but always think of it like a good thing. I mean, your body has to have enough energy to detox. So if you can detox, that's already positive.
Okay, that's great because mine is manifesting in me having to live in the bathroom daily. And so I'm doing too many programs. I guess that'd be it because I don't have any major health issues that I'm aware of. So I think I just started too much too fast. So thank you for answering that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And that's what I would say too, especially if it's bathroom stuff or skin stuff or smell stuff. Those are definitely detox.
Okay. All right, Gwen. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. There was a question on the chat that I want to talk about. Well, let me just go up and answer a few of these real quick. So Allison says she saw another training that we have to start slow with healing and also to take a day off from it every few days. I think everyone's different. Like I went right into 3 programs and went pretty much up to 7 with no problem. But remember, I've been detoxing my whole body every year for 20 years. I'm a different person than someone else who's right now kind of down and out. Sherry asked, can you talk about the master key when downloading the Blue Dot? Sherry, there's some instructional videos, and especially if you go to atp123.com about the master key and how to save the master key. But basically the master key is a way that's saving your client data. It doesn't make your Healy work or not. It has to find the master key, but saving it is another story. But if you go to atp123.com, there's information there on that, on, you know, how to do that. Allison is also saying we need to see your hands on the phone to see what you are doing. Please, there's no way to do that on a Zoom call. So if I'm showing you my screen on Zoom and you're seeing my face, yes, but you can't see my fingers touch the screen because that's not how the phone camera works. So that's why I try to say what I'm touching. Like if I'm saying I'm touching the pulsing the thing, or I'm touching the X, I'm doing like exactly what that's why I'm saying out loud what I'm touching, because I know you guys can't see my fingers. But on a phone camera, there's no way to be able to do that. The only way, well, there's no way to do that, honestly. Allison says, please show us the steps you're using on the resonance. What buttons are you pushing? Are you putting the phone on the dog? Can they handle the same level of frequencies? That's kind of the same question, but on the training videos I did that I will resend out, I can't tell you what button I'm pushing, but I'm telling you what button I'm pushing. I'm saying I'm choosing, you know, the Healy All programs, and then I'm pushing Matera Medica. So that's why I'm specifically saying that out loud. So that's what I would pay attention to. But as far as the other question, I already answered it about the dog, I think. On Jenny, how do you choose the amount of time you select? On the microcurrent programs, it's selected for you. It's pre-programmed to either be like 52 minutes or 30 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever. On the Blue Dot, the Analyze app, I use the default of 1 minute, 20 seconds unless I have more or less time. I just don't have a set thing I do. Anyone that's listened to a few of my calls know that I'm into quick. I want to do everything fast and quick. I don't want to do something for 20 minutes. So I tend to just use the default of 1 minute, 20 seconds. Just because I use other technology that is similar, I've never felt, and also with homeopathy. So let me just, homeopathy, because it's also informational medicine, is a good equivalent. But if you don't know what homeopathy is, this isn't going to really help you, but I'm going to try to explain this in a way that might help. Homeopathy is an informational remedy. It's a remedy for like arsenic or calcium or phosphorus or dioxin or whatever your remedy is. Okay. And when you're using that remedy, 1 drop or 25 drops is the same. There's no difference between 1 drop and 25 drops. Just so you know, like if people say 3 pellets or 5 pellets, honestly, it doesn't matter. 1 pellet and 100 pellets, or you drink the whole bottle, it's not going to give you a different effect. I would equate that to turning up the volume. You can turn up the volume, but you didn't change the effect. The effect did not change at all. And if you go for, 24 minutes versus 1 minute, you also didn't change the effect. The effect is taking the action. The effect is picking the right remedy. The effect is reading the description and it making a connection in your brain. So I always tell people, don't get caught up in the time, because time and space is irrelative in this type of equipment. It just doesn't matter. So, and when people say, well, I've heard some calls say, well, I do my house for like however many hours. Like, okay, they don't know what they're talking about, because a house responds the same to 1 minute as what does 8 hours do different than 1 minute? And nothing. It's absolutely the same. And I could probably debate this subject really well and give some good examples, but I'm not saying I'm right and someone else is wrong. I think everybody can have their own approach with Healy, just like they can have their own approach with other, healing modalities. So basically, that's what I want to say about that. So website, someone's asking me for the website. It's ATP, so Apple Tom Paul 123.com, and I am going to put it in the chat. And that's Maria and Chris's website that they put together. It's not a website where they're trying to take people's Healy people. It's information only. There's no way to buy a product there. It's just videos and support and things that you need to know and references. And they've just done such a really great job of putting that together. So that's that. Okay. And let's see what else. How do you get on my email list? You send an email. I'll put that in here too. Gwen@gfia.net. I'm just going to put it in the chat. If you send me an email that just says add me to your email list, then usually and within a day or two, I get you on my list. And then anytime I send out a newsletter, or I'm doing a video, or we're trying to share some training, or I have an announcement that Healy corporate made or something, I always send it out to everybody. And I'll tell you one reason I do that is I do the best I can between Telegram and WhatsApp, and I don't do social media at all. Even though I pay someone to do my social media, I don't do it because I just don't have time. So by the time I've got, 3 Healy Telegram things going and a WhatsApp thing going and everybody's Facebook pages, forget it. There's just time. And I'm kind of an email person. A lot of people I know might be like me and appreciate getting an email to have a reference that they can go back to later. It is kind of hard in Telegram and those to see something and then it go up 70 posts and then you go, well, where was that thing? I can't find it. And then you never see it again. That's kind of always frustrating me. Okay. So let me see if there's no hands up.
Okay, so when it's Willow, I have one more question.
Okay.
So when on the Pink Dot app, they come with, each program has a recommended minutes to run it. So
Yeah.
Are you saying we should try to, as close as we can, run those Pink Dot app programs, their full minutes?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to check. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll add to that just recently someone was on a call with me and said they were on a different call that I never heard, that someone in the know said that there's 5 levels to each of those programs and you want to complete one more than doing 3 of them partially, because then you're getting all 5 levels of what that program was supposed to do for you.
Right. And that's the sense that I got too, because I've had to interrupt programs for phone calls or whatever reason. And it goes back to the very start. And I've already gotten those frequencies. And so I didn't feel like we should interrupt the programs. And I just wanted to confirm that with you.
Yeah, I've heard that. And I used to say, well, see how much time you have. But I would say now, if it's a 52-minute program, you want to see it through and not cut yourself short.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Gwen.
Yeah, you're welcome. Does someone else have a question?
Yes. Hi, this is Angela Russo. How you doing, Gwen?
Hey, Andrew, good. How are you?
Good, good. I have a question. You kind of touched upon it a little bit before. It's regarding sleep, but I just wanted to clarify something. I usually like to do the sleep programs at night because I'm trying to improve my sleep, the deep REM sleep, and get back into my circadian rhythm, which is really off. So sometimes it's just kind of late, and I was wondering if it was just as effective if I just took the Healy, put a sleep program while I was sleeping and had the Healy next to me without actually putting the bracelet on. Is that recommended?
That's what I do every night.
Oh, okay.
I never have it connected to me anyway, but I literally turn on the sleep program and I lay it in bed either next to me or my dog or between us, and I start it and I fall asleep, and sometime in the middle of the night if I wake up to go to the bathroom or something, it's still blinking, and then I'll go close the app so it just doesn't run the battery down. And by the way, if you have your battery running down, it's usually because you finished a program and walked off and it's still going because you haven't actually closed the program. So what'll happen is if you do that and fall asleep, then the next morning your battery could be very low and maybe you charged it the day before. And that's because when you fall asleep with it, it's still running in the back. It's not running in the background. It actually stops at 52 minutes, but the lights are on. The Bluetooth is blinking. The other thing is blinking because you didn't actually close the app on your phone. So if you wake up in the middle of the night, I would just say to swipe your app closed so you're actually turning everything off.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Does someone else have a question?
Hey, Gwen, it's Brenda Goodman. How are you?
Hey, Brenda. Good. How are you?
Great, thank you. I have a quick question on what you were just talking about. So if I run an app and I download the program to the Healy from the Pink Dot, then I go back and I close the app. Am I turning it off to the Pink Dot? I mean, to the Healy?
If you're actually swiping up and closing it, if you just like leave one page on your phone to go to another, like let me try to show you that, because that's a question that almost everybody with Healy has to know, because this is the biggest thing that actually goes wrong, that people think is wrong, but actually nothing is wrong. So I'm gonna do it and show you. So if I'm here, and it may not even go into it right now because I had the blue dot open last. Okay, it is going, but you see how it's doing this right here. This is a common problem and people think it's stuck. That's because there's an app open. Okay, so if I'm on an iPhone 11, so your phone can be different, but if you like swipe up and close all that background junk and then go back in and turn it on, for one thing you'll know because all your lights will go off. The only way your lights go off is if you've actually turned it off and closed the app. The only way you can turn off your Healy is to close the app, not by the power button. So a lot of people think their power button doesn't work because they're trying to turn everything off there. The way you properly close it is again, like right then I didn't close it. All I did, I can go to another app, I can navigate all around, but I never closed that pink app. So if I swipe up, take a hard swipe, you'll see that it's there sitting in the background. I never closed it and my lights are still on. So you have to swipe up. That's on the iPhone. On an Android, I think you can hit the home button, or you always have them in the background at the bottom and you can just swipe and close them easily. On the iPhone, it takes like maybe an extra step, but it's easy to do. But people need to know the difference between going into, like this is Eat Right for Your Blood Type. If I'm in this and just kind of use my finger to just go to another app, that is still, like I'll show you, it's still in the background. I didn't close anything. All I did was go to something else.
Right. But when you are in the Pink Dot, you can actually put your program on your Healy, right? It downloads it onto the Healy, and then you don't need your phone.
Right. Once that transmit, okay, that's a good question too. So once, okay, let's just do that. So I'm back in, and it always spins right away if you had closed it right in the first place. But just let's say, let me pick something we haven't downloaded yet. So in this moment of it says your program is being transmitted. You cannot do anything right now. You can't take a phone call. You can't respond to a text. You can't walk away from your phone. You cannot do anything. You're stuck. And if your phone rings right now, this did not download. This will stop the download. So if you're doing a lot of Healy stuff, you can put your phone on Do Not Disturb, which I would recommend, because it gets very frustrating to try to do this and you got 5 phone calls coming in because you can't even get your Healy started. But once the line finishes and goes all the way to the end, then you don't need your phone. You can talk on your phone. You can watch a YouTube on your phone. You can go on a hike without your phone. Then the phone does not have anything to do with anything.
So you can actually then close that program for real, swipe it up and close it and still be running on here.
Tried that. I just walk away from the phone. Let me just try something. Let me see if my green light keeps flashing. I think if you close the app, well, see, I'd have to take my Healy away from right here where I'm sitting, but I haven't actually tried that before. So let me just try something. Let me close that. Okay, now I just closed the app and my green light is still blinking. It's still running the program, but my Bluetooth light has went off.
Okay. So in other words, then what we could do is, this is what I've been doing. I download the sleep app, whatever sleep app I want on here. And then I go and fall asleep, but I close the app in my phone. And basically it's like turning off my phone. But I was concerned that when you were saying that, then I wasn't getting it. But then I'm sleeping with the Healy next to me and it basically finishes. And in the morning when I wake up, all the lights are off. And I think because of closed this.
Yeah, thanks. I just learned something because what I was doing was downloading it to my falling asleep pretty quickly. And then it's all still, going until you close the app. And I just never thought to close the app at that point. The transmission happened. So that's a good little tip that I didn't know till just now. Because that would save your battery to do it that way. Because then as soon as the 52 minutes finishes, your Healy would turn off. Like my green light, I don't know if y'all can see it, is still flashing. That app is closed. My green light is flashing, which is always your sign that the Healy is still working. So yeah, that's what I would do now that I know that. I'll do that tonight. I'll just, because I have to charge my Healy about every 3 days is what I've been charging it. And it's mostly because I fall asleep with it on. I think it would last longer if I wasn't doing that.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. That was a good tip.
Sure.
Okay. Who else has a question? Is that true? No more questions? I don't believe it.
I have a question. This is Angela again. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I have a question today. I was trying to do on the blue dot a lot of the vibration for a lot of the programs on the top, like the flower essences and the gems and all of the 6 programs on the top. And when I was doing them, my phone did ring, and it seemed like the vibration stopped. Do they get interrupted if the phone does ring while you're trying to send yourself a vibration?
Oh, that's a whole other story than the microcurrent. So if you're on the Blue Dot app and you get a call, yes, it will interrupt it. And sometimes you have to start over. So again, if you're doing Healy stuff and you get a lot of texts and phone calls, I would put your phone on Do Not Disturb or on airplane mode.
Okay.
That's happened to me too, where I'm like right in the middle of something. Especially if I'm doing screenshots and do what I do for clients, and I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm right in the middle of it, and then the dang phone rings, and I'm like, crap. because then I got to go back in and start over and do the analysis again. And maybe I was on the vibrate part, but maybe I hadn't taken a picture of the screen yet. So I have to start back from the beginning, close the app, go back in, you know, pull the person up and figure out where I left off. So I've gotten pretty much where I'm putting my phone on Do Not Disturb, but also many people know already, I did buy a second device. I have a Samsung tablet, and that's a way that you can do Healy without worrying about all the phone interruptions.
Right. Yeah.
There's nothing worse.
That happened to me today. So I was like, I didn't know if I was losing it, but I think you're right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's nothing worse than being a new Healy person and you have a very active phone, and then you're just trying to do one thing and you can't get it done because you keep getting interrupted.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. I see a question on the chat. We're going to go for about 10 more minutes if anyone has questions. I still see that the waves are working, but often the green light is off and blue light is on. Christina, you can unmute yourself because I don't know what you're talking about, but it also depends on what you're working on. Are you on the Blue Dot or the Pink Dot app? And another question is, does the green light have to be on for the Healy to transmit? The green light is on when the Healy's transmitting. It's flashing rapidly green. And then when it's doing your microcurrent programs after the transmission, it's a steady, not fast, blinking green. So your green light is not steady on.
Hi. Good. I'm just listening to a Zoom call, but I'm good. Hi, Zoom. I know.
Okay, I just muted whoever that was. Anyway, it depends on where you are in the process of the transmission of the download, but it's either flashing green, like fast blinking, and that's during the transmission, steady green, which means you're running the program. But the green light is never steady on. I can't remember a time. And then if it's barely blinking, like pale and barely going, that means it needs battery if it's not dead. Now, if your Healy's dead, of course, you won't have a green light at all. But before it goes dead, you'll turn it on and it'll have like a faint little blink, and then it'll turn off. That means you need to charge your battery. Okay, does anyone else have a question?
How soon will this recording be done? This needs to go to my cousin right away.
I'll send out the recordings from last night and tonight, tomorrow. But remember, tonight I stopped the recording on the questions because we were trying to get a clean copy. So if there was if think it's because I answered a question they might need to know, then I would just try to maybe share that part. But I've done a ton of Zoom calls, like maybe for about 8 weeks, Tuesdays and Wednesday nights. So I have a lot of recordings that I send out every week to everybody. I think there was just 1 week I had some technical challenges, but for the most part, they're they're out there circulating on people's Facebook pages and all kinds of places. And then, like I said, we're trying to create some instructional videos with Maria on ATP 123. And what I'll do for everybody that I have their email for is, which I think is actually better than the introduction call, I have training calls specifically on the Blue Dot and the Pink Dot app. What do you do? What do you do next? What do you do? And then my assistant, Lindsay, did training calls on the master key and also how to load your Healy on a second device. So we already have these calls. So, I mean, and like I said, I seem to be sending them out about every 2 weeks for the new people that are on my email list, but some people have gotten them a bunch of times already. But if you get those, please share them with your Healy friends and Healy team, because maybe they weren't on a prior call of mine and maybe there was something that they needed to get, to learn maybe.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, I've been on your calls and I did your training with Maria and everything's wonderful. It's just that I've got to somebody that I'm going to be doing some training with. And I just thought, oh God, I wish I'd just gotten her on this call today. But I do know your other information's out there and I will be accessing it. So thank you so much for what you do.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I have a question.
Okay,
Today I was trying to find out if there was an update to the blue dot. I searched all over and couldn't find it.
I saw it on Frequency Genius, and Chris Bruntz told me about it. So I'm going to end on that question because I'm going to show you on Frequency Genius something. But just for some of the people that always ask me, how do we access a recording? If you're on my email list, I automatically send out all the recordings every week. Everything I do is sent out to you guys by newsletter. So if you're on my list and if you don't think you've seen it, then check junk or spam. Someone's asking who's the person who will print and make a binder of the manual for a fee. I think Chris Bruntz had mentioned that, and you can contact her through atp123.com. And then on your question, okay, also if you go to atp123.com, you're going to find your Telegram stuff, and there's different Telegram groups that are for Healy. So I happened to see your question just earlier today, and it was right here. So if you guys are not already plugged into Telegram, sometimes there's news, sometimes there's information, sometimes there's a tip, sometimes there's a promotion, sometimes there's an extension of a promotion. So Telegram is probably one of the best ways. I don't love Telegram. I'm not a Telegram fan personally, but it is a way that if someone says something just happened, that is where I go look for whatever that is. So I do know that today information was sent out about a master key reset. Some people with their Heelys, 2 people contacted me in the last 48 hours. We're having problems with their Blue Dot app and master key stuff. And on the corporate call this morning, they said that there was it was a work in progress. They already knew about it. And Telegram, there's the video, and it says really clear instructions on how to install and use the resonance if you were having this problem. If you're not having this problem, you don't have to do anything. But if you are having this problem, then you would go to this YouTube link. So I'm just going to pull up the YouTube link so you can see what the name of it is, then maybe go find it. And there's the name, and I'll leave that on the screen for a minute. So it's the Heal Advisor. I don't know who produced this video, but it's only 12 minutes long, and it's the solution to the people that got hung up with the update on their Healy app.
Gwen, we can't see your
I'm not
screen.
seeing it. Where is it?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I always, when I take you off of share, then I always got to remember to go back to share. So give me just 1 second. I thought you guys could see even the Telegram. So let me just do that part over real quick for a second, and then we're going to end the call. Okay, so first of all, on Telegram, this is what I was saying. So on Telegram today, this was posted, the Master Key Reset, September 2020, and really clear instructions on how to install and use the resonance. That's what y'all couldn't see that I was reading from. So if you're on Telegram, you saw this. If you're not on Telegram, you should get on Telegram. You have to install the Telegram app first. And if you go to atp123.com, it tells you how to get on the Telegram groups. And then if I click on YouTube, it goes to the YouTube video, which is a 12-minute video on how to fix the...
Hey guys, Peter here. I just wanted to explain.
So it's just 12 minutes. And you could, if you type in that, 1,600 people have already watched it. And I think it came out today. So it's Heal Advisor, Analyze, Master Key. I'm gonna leave that up on the screen so you can write that down, because if you go to YouTube, just notice where there's spaces and where there's not spaces so you can actually find it. It was produced by Quantum Evolution, and you might actually want to subscribe to that page so that when they put out stuff that you get a little notification on your phone, which I'm subscribed to plenty of YouTube channels, and every time they put out something new, I get a little alert. Okay, you guys, so the news we shared last night was that after tonight, I'm only going to do calls on Tuesday night, but they might be more extended, like 1.5 to 2 hours. In most cases, Maria will be on the calls with me where we can answer your questions, your technical questions, your back office questions, your compensation questions, your health questions, you know, whatever. So it's going to be mostly an open forum on Tuesday nights where people can plug in to try to get help. But it's also, if we have news to share, like last night we did have news to share, we're going to start with that and then go into live questions and try to take as many things as we can. If you're new to Healy, I'd say get on my email list so that you get all these recordings, and then take the time to watch them. You know, I have a lot of people that I know get my emails, but they'll still like send me a question instead of watching a video. But sometimes the answer is not so easy to explain in an email. Like, how do you load a house? Well, I can't really type that in an email because it's more of a, you got to see me do it. So in some ways, I'm not trying to be mean or rude. I'm just trying to say, hey, there's an instructional video for that, or that we've already covered this last week or something like that. So do try to plug in, because a lot of the questions that people ask are also people asked last week and the week before and the week before. So the more calls you plug into, the more confident you're going to be with your Healy. I don't think it's a super intuitive thing. I don't think it's hard, but there's just some things I've learned. I didn't know some things about my phone. I didn't actually know how to properly close an app. I had hundreds of things open in the background that I didn't even know. So there's a learning curve to it. Even though it's not huge, but there's some things that will really make your life easier the more you can plug into the calls. Okay. So thanks for being on tonight, and we'll see you next Tuesday with Maria. And I'm going to go ahead and stop share, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Bye.